these people of the world, I am incredibly excited, and the reason I'm excited is I'm going to cook you my favorite dish, which is Doner and Kebab in the simplest way ever. The doner we're going to make, and hope you guys are going to make, is going to be so juicy, so incredible in taste. You'll fall in love with it. You can wrap it, you can put it on top of a salad or a pilaf. All those things go so well with doner. Actually, the reason I've started cooking, I used to be a hospital manager. Maybe some of you guys know I was a hotshot hospital manager. Then I became this cook because I believe the heritage of all these grounds have a lot to offer to the world in terms of nice eating and social eating with your loved ones. Because doner is my favorite food, I wanted to crack that because it was a street food and it was really impossible to make at home. I went to the doner people, saw how they were marinating. Then I developed a technique which was freezing the big batch in a freezer and cutting it in slices. And it was one of the first videos on this channel, one of the oldest videos on my TV show as well. And then I have developed, I think it was last year, a simpler way because some people were saying it was hard to cut. So I laid it in a freezer bag and cooked it that way. The beautiful thing about this thing is when you want to change something in the world, you throw a stone. Some of the things that doesn't come to your mind comes to someone else's, and someone from, I think he's a Greek Cypriot kind of cousin, found another technique, which is rolling it in a baking paper. I've checked the technique, I have made it myself. It was very good, but I have found few other tips to make it even greater, and it became really, really tasty. And today I want to show you how to make that. Then we're gonna have our perfect doner. And Burak made an incredible Iskender out of it. I'm also gonna show you those tips. And also, you might say, Refika, meat is really, really expensive. It is actually in Turkey really more expensive even than in UK and US. So I'm going to also make it from chicken and also give you the small tip of that. So a great video is on your way. If you're ready, let's start. Everything starts with the meat and the mixture. We have to marinate the meat to make it even tastier. First, the meat normally is from round and a bit of lamb fat, but it would be a hard mixture to take. So instead of that round, take meat around the ribs, which already has a lot of fat content inside. I'm going to use a kilo of around the ribs meat, double grinded. Then we have to soften the meat, and the softening is the beginning of a rottening process. And the rottening process's helper is the onion juice. So we're gonna try a bit. 2 onions gets grated. After 2 onions get grated, it is very juicy. We don't want the onion skin and the meat. The reason is we don't want the meatness to go away, but we want this beautiful juice. This will open up the cells of the meat so that our marination will work. It will tenderize, soften the meat, and when it's cooked, it will make it tastier. A bit of crying is always good for the eyes and the soul.
Do you let your tear drop to the
No. With that, 4 tablespoons of yogurt. And the yogurt helps all these herbs to get into the meat even betterly. We want a heaped tablespoon of salt, heaped teaspoon of black pepper. Our black pepper is a bit coarse, as you can see. Always grind it weekly or something so that it gives a better taste. Always keep in mind. And then a tablespoon of red flake pepper. If you use powdered red pepper, use a teaspoon, not a tablespoon, because how red flake pepper gives you the hotness is slightly different than the powdered one. It will work because the powdered one is more like distributed. It becomes too much. Very importantly, we need thyme, or oregano could work as well. The animals used to go all around and they would eat the thyme and their meat would smell this thyme. And I remember when I was a small child in Cyprus, all the meat, it would smells so nicely. So this gets into the meat and you'll see how different the meat is going to taste. Very, very beautiful. If your right thyme is not so great, use teaspoon. Otherwise it would be too strong. But if you like the smell and the taste, use a tablespoon of thyme. Then, not our tears, but we need our hands. Hand and kneading. Kneading is one of the things that this geography is about. We knead our cultures to one another. We knead our home hopes. For example, so many things are happening around. So with our fears, our hopes are kneaded all together. It gets mixed up. It becomes a mash. When something that you hope for becomes real, there's always a bitter taste inside, a sourness inside. This makes it more real. This makes it more like life. You kind of accept that, you plan something and you're here and you plan this and you believe that it will be a straight line, but in life, it never is. So by kneading, you get the awareness that you push something, you mix something. Sometimes you lose your individuality and existence. You need to blend in. But then, for the good of everyone and for the good of the world, something tasty can come up. Other than the philosophy behind it, actually, like, your energy changes when you knead something. You give your beautiful energy to the food and it also gives something back. That's why grandmas usually food tastes always good, because they give the unconditional love to the food. So after kneading, if you have time, please let it sit for at least an hour. Why? All these herbs are now there. We want it to get into the meat. The onion juice will fasten it, but if you let it sit for an hour, that would be better. If you don't, it wouldn't be end of the world. You'll have this pepper and those tastes, not just in meat, but you'll taste them individually as well. Now, time to turn this meat into a döner. We put it on the side. We will take a bit of water. I'm going to show you why. And then we have the baking paper. How do you take the baking paper out? From the inside out. Don't like open this and take it out. Usually people do that, but from here it's much easier. Do this. Why? Otherwise you take the paper out and it goes back and it drives you crazy. Why water? If you put this directly here and put the meat, it will slide on your counter. But if you put a bit of water like this and put it here, it cannot slide as easily. And I'm going to put a bit more, just wet it. Not too much, but a little. It will stick to the counter, making it easier to handle. Then 220 grams. With the additions, my 1 kilo meat becomes 6 pieces. You divide this into 6 batches. If you don't have a scale, just divide it into 6 and that will work. Count it to 220, 25. Then pat it with my hands and try to make a rectangle, same like the paper, because this will ease the process of trying to thin it evenly. Otherwise, it doesn't get even easily.
Unfortunately, your paper is not rectangular, it's a square.
No, it's a rectangle. Come on, maths and me, Bahar. I put the second one on top and then with the rolling pin, go back and forth. You don't need to push too much. Don't go to the sides yet. Leave a room and turn it and then roll it. For example, if something pops out like this, take it out with your hands, and for example this place is lacking some, add it here and then roll it back. So we're not French, we're Turkish, so it doesn't have to be perfect, guys. I take this part out again and add it to this corner and a bit of here, and this is almost ready. As you can see, open it, and when you see, for example, in the middle there's a place which is lacking some. Take it some from the corner, add some in here as well, to those which are really thin. It's not a must do, but to get a more beautiful döner, just roll it on again, all done. Let's say, Refika, this is 220 grams. If you make it 280, 300, it would be a thicker döner, and it will give a lot of its water away. It will take too much time to cook, and it will cook unevenly because it's wrapped. Outside would be more and inside not so much. So this is the perfect grams to do. To roll it, first I take my thumb and the finger, roll it a bit and then roll again. And after it's round, I put my thumbs on the corner and with my point finger turn. This makes it round like this. Put it onto my tray and I'm going to prepare 6 pieces like this. I'm not using white baking paper because they use whiteners to make that paper perfect white. So this is a bit better in terms of food is touching the material so much. Keep in mind. So 6 of them are ready. There might be some things like on the corner, some meat is about to go out. Not a problem at all. Put it in one tray. And with our döner, I want some pepper, so I'm going to put some pepper in the oven. I'm not going to put it on top of the kebabs because I don't want to ruin its cooking, but I'm going to put it on a tray below. But why do I score them?
So that's an explode.
Yes, the air inside is kept in the hot. The air will expand and I don't want it to blast. So putting in this to the oven like this. It's one level lower than the resistance. There are 5 levels. I'm going to put it in the 4th layer and I'm going to put the peppers here. We don't have any fan on top and bottom and 220 degrees. It shouldn't be higher than this because these papers fall apart after 220 degrees, so it's on the edge. So like this, 20 minutes. My peppers have changed color, but I want them to be browned a bit, so I'm going to put them on top and take my döners out. Ta-da! Yeah, looking good. Now, first, something which is not written. There's a bit of juice at the bottom, so I am going to put this juice on the side. This is a great tasty juice. I'm going to use it in a funny way. This is on the side. If you want to make a pilav, you can make pilav out of this. It's good. It would be incredible. Now is the fun part. Taking the döners out. Da-da-da-dum. This part looks like the döner we buy, but this part is a bit grayer. What we know from this channel, that brownness is the Maillard reaction, and we want that brownness as much as possible. But it's really hard when it's inside the rolls. So we take this out. This part, as I said, is quite tasty. Because it's brown. This gray part is not as tasty. Let me check. It's good, but it can get higher in taste. So what are we gonna do? We have a pan here with a bit of butter, 2 tablespoons of butter. And I'm going to put these with my hands. So these parts also get brown. Now it's quite juicy like this. As you can see, I don't want it to lose its juiciness as well. So I'm not going to crowd up the pan too much. And I'm not going to let them sit in there too much. Just a few turns and let it brown a bit. Meanwhile, when this is cooking, probably my peppers are here. Yes, they are also in perfect condition. So as you can see, this looks like a much tastier döner than this one. And finally, when I get the brownness I want, I had this beautiful juice. I put a bit of the juice. The meat is going to soak this beautiful thing. And at the same time, I'm going to wet my lavash with the butter, with the juice, and then we're ready. Then it's time for the show. Ta-da! Why? Yes, why? And this is why I wanted to, change my life. I was a well-earning hospital manager, but I had like these things in mind and I wanted to share it with you guys, and this is what I've dreamed of, so it's so good. Not the season, but I put some tomatoes because it's umami. I take the seeds out, I don't want it to water and golden the döner. A bit of onions if you like, and some Turkish pickles. And a bit of course, parsley. It's in. Now our döner is ready to... I forgot my pepper. You can put it directly like this. If there's too much blackness, I take away. And how to wrap it. Wrap it from the sides first and then roll. I use 2 lavash for it to be as thick as I want. And my dürüm, my wrap, is ready to rock and roll. Can I eat it with who?
Of course.
Rock? Come.
This is the döner I remember from my childhood.
So if you compare all 3 techniques, which one would you use when?
If I'm going to make döner for 5-10 people, this is the technique that I would use. Or if I'm going to send a kid to the school and we'll give some food, I'm going to prepare this in like 3 batches and put it in the freezer that way. But if I'm going to cook for you when you come to my house, or if I'm tired and I come home, I'll use the freezer methods. Actually, I did it yesterday at home. when you're just one people or two people and you don't have this energy to do this or time, etc., you do that, and when it's freshly made, it's tastier. But if we are gonna have a party, this is the party food for sure.
Can you roll this and then put it in the freezer, or do you have to cook it and put it in the freezer?
If you roll this and put it in the freezer, it would take longer time to cook. It won't be as tasty then. Yeah.
And they're gonna break when they're frozen.
We should use our frozen technique in that sense. They are saying that because something is dropping from the bottom, that's the rule. It has to be that juicy. The döner into its perfection. 1 second. We have promised the Iskender version of this. Burak made it and we have a reels.
Let's watch it.
If you want the chicken version of it and you want to make it, we also made it. We have a video for it. It's in shorts. If you haven't watched our short videos, you should definitely check it. I don't know whether we can post it somewhere here or here. Refika chicken döner shorts. So that's it. Hope you've enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it too much. I think you should enjoy it too. And if you enjoyed, please share your comments with us. We are all checking the comments. And don't forget to subscribe.
Love you guys so much. Take care.